In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get water in Farming Simulator 25. Let's get into it. Okay, so there's a number of ways to get water, and there's a number of ways to transport water in Farming Simulator 25. So let's first of all take a look at the equipment you'll need to transport water. So you want to come into the shop, you want to find the barrels section, which is in the animals section, so under barrels, and then you've got four options. So we've got the ABI attachments 550, the ABI attachments 1600, the MKS 8 and the MKS 32. So these two white trailers will just do water, whereas the two silver trailers will do buffalo milk, cow's milk, water, liquid fertilizer, and liquid herbicide. Okay, so we've got them lined up here. So this is the smaller tank, the larger water tank, and then we've got our two multi-fluid tanks that will do multiple liquids. Okay, so the thing that is essentially different about these is the capacity that they hold. So obviously the MKS 32 will do 32,000 litres. The Lizard MKS 8 will do 25,000, so on and so forth. So whatever your budget is, whatever you want to do, that's essentially the trailers that you'll need. The other thing that you will need is a water source. Okay, so the game comes with, if you're playing on Riverbend Springs, which is where we are now, you'll have this water source, okay, which is usually located over in this corner. However, I've moved mine along, deleted it for my test map. So if you want to come into, and we've also got this water tank here as well, and we've got the rice field, which we'll talk about in a second. So to locate these guys, you want to come into the build mode, you want to come into buildings, and then to containers, and you'll find them here. So you've got the old wind wheel with water tank, which is this guy, and then you've got the water tank, which is this guy here, okay? So all these are is a paid water source, okay? So you can use these on your farm, so you don't have to transit to a fresh water source such as a river, but you do get charged for that water usage. Another way to get water is if you've got a rice paddy, okay? So I've got a small rice paddy here that I'm starting to flood. This acts as a water source as well, okay? So to find that, you want to come into the build mode. You want to come into the build mode. You want to go down to factories and buildings, scroll across to cultivation, and then you've got your rice field here, okay? And then you just draw an outline of a field, so you can draw it at whatever angle you like. So I just did a triangle for mine. Once you're happy, hit square, and then you've got a water source. Now this is obviously not going to be used for farming, but if you want to use it for a water source, you could. Or if you've got a full-size rice field, you can utilize it for free water, okay? Now the other water source is close to a river or stream. So if we jump out into the larger map, you can see on Riverbend Springs, obviously we've got the river running through the majority of the map, and we've got a couple of vehicles stationed at the river's edge. So we'll go and have a look at those. So here we are, we're just down the bottom of the map near field 2, and we've got a nice kind of area that we can walk into. I'll jump into the build mode actually because it'll show it off better. It's not a huge slope, okay, but we are able to get our truck and trailer. So I've got two options here just to show you what can happen. The risk here is that if you drive your vehicle too far into the water, it'll sink, and then you'll have to recover it, and you'll lose the vehicle for a period of time. So you don't lose it permanently, it just means that you can't get it out and it has to be reset. Okay, so if we're going to use this water source, pretty much we'll just jump into our tractor. We've got our trailer connected. We're just going to back in until our top left hand menu says refill mobile water tank by pressing L3. So we're on the PS5 console here. You can see our water bar is going up. So it's now given us 6,000 litres of water for no cost. So if we jump into the larger tank, just to demonstrate as well. So I've already backed pretty much in, and I'm going to refill this. So you can see that's refilling like so. If we want to stop the refilling, we can pause and resume. Now if I back in too far, which is what I'm going to try and do, the other risk here is you can get stuck, okay? So you just got to be careful where you get your water from, okay? So if we might be able to get this, let's see. So if I can't get this out, I'll have to reset it, okay? So this is the challenge with getting water, particularly in this map, because there's not a lot of shallow access points. So I'd basically say that's ditched now, and we'd have to reset the vehicle. So while we're here, let's show you how to reset. So if this happens to you, basically you come into the vehicle menu, come into your hotspots, hover over the vehicle, press R3, and then hit reset, and then that will now return it to the shop. And because we're still in the vehicle, we can't reset that. So now if we jump out, the vehicle is here. So R3, hit reset, and then if we scroll through, our vehicles are at the shop. Okay, So that's a quick little tip on how to reset vehicles if you get stuck, particularly trying to get water. So let's move on. Alright, so let's go ahead and fill up from our paid water sources. So we're going to use the windmill first. So basically you just come up to the water drop icon. So the water drop icon is pretty much this area here. So as long as we pull alongside with our trailer, we should get a trigger to start filling the water tank. So let's pull up alongside. L3 to start filling, so you can see our fill levels going up nice and slow, and you can also see our money is depleting as we go down. So what we'll do is we'll cut the video here and we'll come back in once this is refilled. So about 1,800 in water costs, and we can see that's now filled. Okay, so basically now we've got our water on board. What do we do with it? So basically the greenhouses and the pastures are two options that will take water. So all we've got to do is come up alongside our water trigger, so you can see we're getting the overloading icon down the bottom there. So R1 and triangle to unload. You can see our water level going down. And if we want to stop that, R1 and triangle as well. We've also got our water pasture here for our animals. So we just got to maneuver it into position, and we can put the water in for the animals. So anywhere where you've got an animal pasture or anything like that, or greenhouses, this is basically how you get water. And then we'll also demonstrate how to get water out of the rice paddies. So let's go on, or the rice field, so let's go and do that. So we've got our rice field here. Basically all we do is drive alongside until we get the refill trigger. So you can see that there. If we just hit the L3, we'll now refill, and we shouldn't get charged any money for this. So you can see that there, we've got now water on board pretty quickly. And we haven't been charged, so we can now use this for whatever we need to, for our animals or for our greenhouses. So that's pretty much it. So obviously the differences are in the capacity that you can carry. These guys are good because they're multi-purpose. However, you do need a turntable or a truck to drive this one, but the benefit is you've got bulk carrying capacity. This guy here is on a trailer, but it's got a turntable in the front axle, so it is a little bit hard to reverse. So if I try and reverse this up, you'll see what I mean. So that axle has a tendency to jackknife, so this one's more suited for just driving forward where applicable. Okay, so if we just zoom out, now if you've got pretty good reversing skills, which I don't, you may find it hard to get into tight areas. So that's just something to consider if you're tossing up whether to get the smaller tank or the bigger tank. My personal preference is the bigger one, because basically it saves you having to do as many trips. A bit more of an expensive outlay. Otherwise, any of these guys, the smaller or the bigger of the ABIs, which is this guy here, will do pretty well as well. So that's pretty much on how to get water. So there you have it, guys. Quick little guide on how to get water in Farming Simulator 25. If you like this video, leave a like on it. If you've got any questions, leave them down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.